I'm Ryan Iverson, and this is the Investor Breakout Weekly Insight. Let's talk about what happened this week. Kevin Warsh is stepping into the Fed chair role at a brutal time. Inflation is still running hot, bond markets are breaking, and the new Fed chair may be walking straight into a no-win situation. Because if the Fed gets the next move wrong, markets won't wait for a second chance. Oil prices are elevated because of the Middle East conflict, bond markets are selling off aggressively, and investors are starting to realize rates may stay higher for longer. That is the backdrop facing the new head of the Federal Reserve, and the market is watching closely. Warsh has previously floated the idea of lower rates and a more flexible communication style from the Fed. But that gets harder when Treasury yields are climbing, mortgage rates are rising, and inflation pressures are not fading. At the same time, the economy is sending mixed signals, consumer sentiment is weakening, but AI spending and equity markets have remained surprisingly strong. So now investors are trying to figure out which story matters more. Is the economy finally slowing enough for rate cuts? Or is the inflation still too dangerous for the Fed to ease? That is the balancing act. Warsh now has to support growth without losing control of inflation expectations, while also maintaining the Fed's credibility and independence in an increasingly political environment. The real question now is whether the Fed can still engineer a soft landing or whether that window has already closed. One teeny copper company just went from under $1 to over $6. And now investors are starting to ask whether this is becoming something much bigger. The latest move could quietly turn into one of the largest copper district stories in the United States. Faraday Copper has become one of the standout stories to come out of the CEM Scottsdale Capital Event. The company, trading as FDY on the TSX, attended the 2025 CEM event, trading around 75 cents. Today, the stock has climbed to recent highs above $6, a gain of more than 600%, and the company has been moving fast. Faraday's Copper Creek project in Arizona already hosts approximately 4 billion pounds of measured and indicated copper resources. But this year, the company took a major step forward with a proposed BHP-backed acquisition of the historic San Manuel Copper District. If completed, the combined assets could create one of the largest copper districts in the United States. The transaction will also bring legacy infrastructure, private land, rail access, power, and a potential pathway towards faster cathode production. That matters in today's market. Copper demand continues to rise from electrification, AI infrastructure, defense systems, and energy grid expansion, while the U.S. still relies heavily on imports. Faraday also strengthened its balance sheet with over $100 million financing, backed by BHP and the Lundin family, helping fund drilling, permitting, engineering work, and district integration. And the drill results continue to support the momentum. The company's in the middle of a 40,000-meter drill campaign, with recent intercepts highlighting additional near-surface expansion potential across the district. The question now is whether Faraday is simply having a breakout year or positioning itself as one of the next major U.S. copper development stories. You can read the full deep dive on investorbreakout.com. I'm Ryan Iverson, and we'll see you next week.